During this hectic free agency, Howie Roseman and the front office have been extremely active, signing big names such as Saquon Barkley and Bryce Huff. With that being said, they still have a ton of work to do through the draft to fill out the rest of the roster, so let's dive right into it. The biggest positional need for the Eagles is likely cornerback, as both Darius Slay and James Bradberry are on the wrong side of 30, meaning more youth needs to be injected at the position. With the addition of Vic Fangio as their new defense coordinator, he'll likely want to install quarter half concepts such as cover 6 or cover 8 and draft a corner who can play a variety of coverages. With that being said, at pick 22, I have the Eagles taking Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback out of Alabama. The 5'11 corner nearing 200 pounds has been a starter since his true freshman year, which says a lot considering he played under Nick Saban, who is known for running complex NFL-style coverages at the collegiate level. At face value, McKinstry showcases as a man coverage corner who likes using physicality to beat up his opponents in press technique, giving receivers a hard time on their initial releases. Even though he excels in this facet, he has the know-how to run zone, giving the flexibility of playing both styles of coverages. On paper, his ball production isn't all that impressive with just 2 picks in 3 years, but that likely stems from offensive scheming away from him due to his coverage ability, where he's allowed just 1 touchdown in each of his past 3 seasons. He's also a willing tackler and doesn't shy away from contact, though he definitely could work on his block shedding, as he occasionally gets glued to his blocker. Moving on to pick 50 in the second round, we go with much needed help at the second level in linebacker Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M. After Nakobe Dean went down early in the season, linebacker play for Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow honestly didn't warrant the Eagles bringing them back. As this year's chaotic free agency begins, the Eagles have gone through a complete overhaul of the position and added Devin White from the Buccaneers and Zach Bond from the Saints, both of whom are on one-year deals and short-term solutions for the Eagles, making Cooper a critical positional need. At 6'2", 230, he has a range and speed to go from sideline to sideline and also hold his own in coverage, as he's played more than 270 coverage snaps in each of the past 2 seasons. Along with that, he's a viable option as a blitzer, racking up 8 sacks this year alone. Even though this is a considerably weaker linebacker class, Cooper is still an exceptional athlete and has the athleticism and explosiveness to thrive at the next level, and could grow into the mold of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who was drafted by the Browns in the second round back in 2021. And with the Eagles needing to find a starter at the second level in the future, he's a phenomenal choice. Moving on to the second pick in round 2 at pick 53, we're going to the other side of the ball and selecting wide receiver Javon Baker out of the University of Central Florida. After spending his first 2 seasons at Alabama, he transferred to UCF, where he's gone on to become their top target the past 2 years. In his final season with the Knights, he racked up 1,139 yards, good for first amongst all receivers in the Big 12, along with 7 touchdowns. At 6'1", 202, he has the size and durability to play as an outside receiver in the NFL, which would be the ideal scenario for the Eagles, given that they could then kick Devonta Smith into the slot and probably be even more effective than he already is. Even though his 4.5 40-yard dash doesn't exactly scream speed, the smoothness in his routes more than makes up for that, allowing for him to attack the deep part of the field. Later in the season, I can see him taking snaps away from Devontae Parker and be a nice complementary piece alongside A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. And with that, let's move on to day 3 of the draft. We begin day 3 by investing in the trenches and shoring up depth along the offensive line by taking Mason McCormick, the guard out of South Dakota State. An integral part of a team that currently holds the longest win streak in the nation at 28 wins, including back-to-back FCS titles, Mason McCormick is the definition of an offensive lineman, mauling people in the run game and keeping his quarterback upright in pass sets. Standing at 6'4", 309, he has the makings of an NFL player, and along with that, he posted elite athletic numbers at the Combine, including a 10-yard split time of 1.71 and a short shuttle time of 4.45, both of which rank in the 97th percentile for linemen. To give you context, Jason Kelce also had the exact 10-yard split time, and he turned out to be a pretty good player. His overall RAS score of 9.97 ranks 6th all-time amongst guards since 2001, which is a trait Howie Roseman looks for as he's drafted players such as Cam Jurgens and Brandon Brooks. What makes McCormick stand out is his unique responsibility of calling out protections, which is generally a role taken on by centers. On film, you can clearly see him identifying defenders and communicating with the rest of the line, which is likely a reason why he was asked to play snaps at center during the Shrine Bowl. McCormick definitely has the ability to start in the NFL right away at any of the 3 interior spots, and will likely be a depth piece for them. But come playoff time, teams will be so banged up, which is when depth becomes absolutely crucial. So with that, we'll be moving on to the 5th round. With our first of 3 fifth-round picks, we're selecting defensive back Tyke Smith out of Georgia. A native of Philadelphia, he manned the star position for the Bulldogs, lining up all across the formation, whether that be in the box, as a deep safety, or even on the D-line. However, his primary role was as a slot defender, logging over 400 snaps at the position. At 5'10", 202 pounds, he can hold his own against tight ends and slot receivers alike. In the 2023 season, he led the Bulldogs in multiple statistical categories, including a team-high 68 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 8.5 tackle for losses. Along with that, he racked up 2 sacks and 2 pass defense, especially within Vic Fangio's system, which Smith should seamlessly fill. This would also unlock CJ Gardner-Johnson's flexibility and allow for him to be deployed in more areas of the field, and not just pigeonhole him to just a slot. Shifting to the next 5th round pick, we'll now be switching to the other side of the ball. With pick 171, we're going to be shoring up the tight end room with Theo Johnson out of Penn State. At 6'6", 259, Johnson is an elite athlete, scoring a 9.93 RAS score, which is good for 9th all-time amongst tight ends since 2001. He has the speed to be a vertical threat, which is cemented by his 4.57 40-yard dash that was in the 95th percentile at his position. Lateral mobility is what limits his route running at the next level, and likely a reason why he was primarily used as a move tight end. The Eagles desperately need a blocking tight end, especially with the departure of Jack Stoll to the Giants, and no one else in the position group offers exceptional blocking except Dallas Goedert, which is a role Johnson can definitely fill at the next level. Moving on to our final 5th round pick, we double dip at the wide receiver position and take Taj Washington out of USC. After transferring from Memphis his freshman year, Washington has steadily increased his yardage total during his time with the Trojans. This past year, he managed to put together his best statistical season, racking up 1,062 yards on 59 receptions to go along with 8 touchdowns. As part of the Trojans' dynamic offense, he was a primary slot receiver and the most reliable target for potential first overall pick Caleb Williams. Even though he's a smaller receiver at 5'9", 174 pounds, he's able to consistently separate from defenders and do the dirty work in the middle in order to keep drives alive. At the pro level, he'll likely stay in the slot, but that's not to say he doesn't have the ability to play on the outside, just due to his usage at USC. He also offers special teams value with his experience as a kick returner, so he could bring some competition towards Brayden Covey and allow for the Eagles to go for a cheaper option as they fight for the wide receiver 4 spot. For the final pick of the Eagles' draft class this year, we're going to be selecting Keaton Oladapo, safety out of Oregon State. As Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown respectively recover from a torn pec and an ACL tear, more depth has to be established at the safety position, even with the return of CJ Gardner-Johnson in the lineup. Standing at 6'2", 216, Oladapo is a physical player who is a plus factor in the run game. He also possesses good range and speed to roll towards receivers over the top. His aggressive playstyle can hinder him at times though, as he can overplay and take the wrong angle on tackles. However, at this stage of the draft, upside should be the main priority, and with an RAS score of 8.11, you're getting a top-tier athlete who can still be a great role player down the line. So to go over a recap of the draft, we took cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama in the 1st round. In the 2nd, we took linebacker Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M, as well as UCF receiver Javon Baker. Then on day 3, we selected Mason McCormick, the interior lineman from South Dakota State in the 4th round, and a trio of 5th round picks in defensive back Tyke Smith, tight end Theo Johnson, and receiver Taj Washington. And to round it all up, we got safety Keaton Oladapo in the 6th. Let me know what you guys thought of these picks and who you guys would have taken instead. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.